I'm Al, this is the Geek in Review, and I'm going to be talking about Star Trek Lower Decks Season 3, Episode 5, Reflections. So if you haven't seen it, this will contain spoilers, and I'm going to have a little bit of a chat, spoiler-free, before the start of the episode, so if you want to skip to the spoilers, this is when it is. So, yeah, I've been complaining a little bit about the pace of the energy of this season of Lower Decks, and I really like this episode, at least part of it. The Rutherford story in this is very interesting. It also contains some humour, but not too much, but it's actually kind of dark, and it sets up some stuff for the characters that we're really looking forward to seeing. I do hope though that we get more on the rest of the guys, because we're not getting much this season. The Boimler and the Mariner storyline has all the humour, but it's not that interesting, and Tendi is just a secondary character in this episode. But I really did like it, I'm not having a go. I definitely think it's the strongest episode of the season. So with that, I'm going to get straight. So let's get into the spoilers, unless, you're going to pause this video and watch the episode, in which case, great. But leave a like and subscribe if you're going to do that, because, it's a little bit rude. It's not that rude, but it's a little bit rude. So yeah, we get a bit more Captain Freeman at the start of the episode, although that's all that she's in it, thank God, because as I said last week, or as I said for last week's episode, which I posted earlier on today, check it out after this one if you haven't seen it, we're getting a lot of Captain Freeman, and it's taken away a little bit from the fact that the show is called The Lower Decks. It's not supposed to be about the bridge officers, and this episode is entirely Lower Decks focused. Boimler and Mariner are put on the recruitment team on Planet, and Mariner isn't best pleased because she sees that it's box ticking rather than an actual mission, and Ransom is being a real dick about this, and he's not the only one in this episode that comes across as a bit of a dick. He was unnecessarily harsh on her just because she didn't really want to do something that was pointless. I don't agree with that, but let me know what you think in the comments below. So yeah, it's sort of a job fair or an intergalactic job fair, and there's some competition against Starfleet, and it's an independent archaeologist, and I thought they're going to set this up for Vash or something that we've seen before in one of the other shows, but no, it's an original character who, again, is a bit of a dick and is certainly not Indiana Jones at all. So I wasn't originally getting this or feeling the character. It turns out that she's ex-Starfleet who isn't pro-Starfleet. And it is good to hear this point of view because it's mentioned quite a lot on internet discussions and YouTube videos that maybe the Federation of Starfleet isn't the best organisation in this universe, and how they go about business is pretty questionable, but that's an argument for another time. Now, I didn't think we were going to see this in Lower Decks, so it was pretty refreshing and pretty surprising, and also pretty serious. Now, the other story in this episode is about Rutherford, who's having problems sleeping, and Tendi thinks that it's linked to his implants. And it turns out it's a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde scenario, or at least that's how it starts off. So at the beginning I was like, what, has this been going on for a while and no one's noticed? But it turns out that what Tendi done is basically reset him back to a younger version of himself, and he can communicate with the real Rutherford, or I should say the present Rutherford, through his reflection, which is the title of the episode, and also because Mariner reflects about leaving Starfleet at the end of the episode, but I'm not going to mention that, it's not important. But also, the evil Rutherford gave me total vibes of Peter Parker when he had the Venom suit in Spider-Man 3 and that stupid fucking emo haircut. It was fun and it was silly, and he didn't really lean into the silliness of it too much. I liked when he was trying to pretend to be Rutherford and he was all, gee, golly, gosh, and the real Rutherford, that's not how he sees himself, as being that nice or goofy. And I think if you did have to watch yourself back, or someone was doing an impression of you, it'd be pretty hard to watch. So, yeah, the younger Rutherford, he's a bit of a dick too, and that's a theme for this episode. They get their sort of tapestry moment when the two minds meet and they've got to decide who's going to take over the body. So I thought it was going to go into Tuvik's territory, but it doesn't really do that too much. It ends up with them fighting for control of the body, and how else are you going to do that other than having a race? And I was seriously losing interest in this episode up until this point. Because at this point, because it does get a little bit meta here into who Rutherford is, and I've complained about the stories this season, and this is exactly what I want from Lower Decks. We're getting more character building. Okay, it's only one character so far this season, but we've still got time for the rest of the gang to get their moment, and it's nice to take a little bit of shine off Rutherford and give him a bit of sort of depth and dirt as well. So he decides to race himself and build the Delta Flyer, and all this stuff is all the reference and humour from Lower Decks that I think has been missing from this season. There's quite a lot of Easter eggs in here. I'm not going to go through them all because that's half the fun is finding it for yourself. And the rest of the team show up as well to teach the younger Rutherford about teamwork and remind us that this show can be pretty good when it wants to be. All the Romulan ship stuff looked great as well. We've not a lot of action scenes in this season, so I'm glad that they managed to fit this in with the rest of this story. But yeah, this is like a really deep look at Rutherford, and what happens to the younger one is pretty tragic. And then when we get the present Rutherford listing off all the stuff of how they can save him, you know, can we put his mind into an android, can we make him into a hologram, all stuff that we've seen before, and great. But yeah, that was a real heavy touching moment, and it's a bit of a shame that the rest of the story in this episode wasn't really half as good. And when you're delivering a story this sort of funny and this deep and this clever, the Mariner Boimler stuff seems kind of pointless. Yeah, it's got all the funny moments with the Cisco conspiracy and the uniform debate, and it's funny, but it's not the best part of the episode. It's pretty forgettable, to be honest. And there hasn't been a lot of standout humour from this season. The Boimler explosion at the end didn't make sense to me and seemed totally out of his character. It's something that I would expect from Mariner. But yeah, all in all, I really did like this episode. It's my favourite episode of Season 3 so far. While I say one story didn't totally work for me, the other one was a pretty heavy hitter, and I hope they can maintain this level of writing across both an A and a B story for the rest of the season. And one thing I just don't get though is why did they wait till episode 5 to deliver this? Because again, the only limit on this show is your imagination. They can take us wherever they want and do whatever they want with these characters, and it just feels that they've not been doing the world building or the character building that a lot of us have been looking forward to. But we've got a lot here, and we've got a lot going on going forward. We've got the mystery about Rutherford and his implants, which, if they carry it over an arc rather than reveal it next week, is something that I'm looking forward to. And does this mean that the Rutherford that's got this body isn't the true personality if they've tampered with him with implants? I don't know. I think that's going to be a bit of a debate. We might see another Rutherford personality. But as always, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think of this episode in the comments below. And do you think the Rutherford reveal is going to lead to the Section 31 spin-off show? Spoiler alert, no. It's no, I don't know why we're still talking about that show, but yeah, let's get rid of it. But anyway, my name's Al, thanks for watching, like and subscribe. It's just one small click for you, but it means so much to the channel.